So we've been talking a little bit about Tom Clancy's The Division and The Division 2. There is a question overall as to some of the different nuances and, structure that Ubisoft has in regard to how the game has been created in the past, 8 years from The Division 1? And also the conversation of Heartland comes into perspective as well. And there are certain claims I've made, or at least certain statements that I've made on this channel about some of these things. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Shout out to the LCN clan and a lot of the help that they've basically provided to yours truly and a lot of people in this community. If you want to dial in, there should be a link in the description to join the Discord server. You can also join the Gamer Dad Discord server as well to have conversations and whatnot. But if you are looking to play the Division and actually get ahead, maybe find people to run raids with or run incursions with or whatever, that is a Discord server that I would definitely recommend to you because I'm in the Discord server and really, I enjoy the benefits of it and I want to share it with you guys. So the Division Heartland, right? The conversation is coming around here and, we're talking about where the game is. The game might still be in production. I don't want anybody to, take what I've said to mean the game has been scrapped or whatever. No. I'm not concluding that. I don't know that. However, I think right now with the announcement of the Division 3, it won't be something surprising, number one. And number two, we also have to take into consideration that, yes, even though the Division Heartland is being developed by a different studio, this is Ubisoft's Red Storm, they are also a studio that is heavy in the production and the lifeline and pipeline of the Division 1 and the Division 2. They basically have done a lot of the PvP work from what we know. We don't know how much of the other systems and builds and all the other things they've done. But when you look at your game and you look at the credits from the Division 2 and even the Division 1, you'll know that Red Storm is basically one of the MVP studios that have been working on this franchise. Now also, the one thing that brings me to this part of the conversation is the fact that we're seeing what I think is a very interesting strain on the gaming industry overall. And this strain is something that the economy, the bloatedness of video games, the way things have always kind of, in a sense, overstayed their welcome. All of this has kind of culminated in a place where a lot of these companies seem to be restructuring and basically overall redefining their focus. I'll give you an example. EA, number one, today, unfortunately, laid off about 600 people. That was very sad. So when you think about that thing and then you go around and say, okay, why and what was their reason? Their CEO is saying things like, or I don't know if it's their CEO, someone in their ranks is saying things along the lines of licensed games are not necessarily going to be the best for this industry. Licensed games meaning all of these Star Wars and FIFA and, the Iron Man game and Black Panther game that you're hearing about. And even with Ubisoft themselves, they went ahead and did the Avatar game and also the Star Wars games. Now, keep in mind, they may have gotten better agreements when they signed them. And so their cost and their loans and everything may have been accounted for, and their Star Wars game might do well, but we don't know how well their Avatar games did. And with this new strain, it would not be surprising that they channel their efforts into a commercial game that they already have known success. Basically, they have a guaranteed audience that is going to engage and play the game and support it. So when I say Heartland might have been refocused, I'm not necessarily speaking out of turn. Rather, I'm actually looking at the way the gaming industry is going right now. Even EA themselves went ahead and scrapped an FPS Star Wars game they're making. And if we look around, you'll realize that even with Sony, which is a second topic of discussion, they've also moved into the place where they've scrapped some of their projects as well. I mean, one of them was reportedly, I think it was a Twisted Metal. I think they said they moved it or they may have scrapped it. I don't know what's going on. But all of these are affecting people all over the world in terms of gaming. This is a very, very huge, set of changes that's going on. So again, I think we're now at a point where we can say safely that the bet was probably not the safest bet. There's nothing wrong in them making the bet as well. But, Heartland is not necessarily free from the market forces. Right now, the market is saying a fully fledged, fully developed commercial product like a Division game is what is viable among the player base right now. Whomever wants the Division Heartland I'm not saying that they're wrong for wanting that. I'm just saying when you compare and weigh the scales, or you give them even a priority list, they would still take a full-fledged division game over Heartland. It's crazy. If we did a survey right now, we said, okay, let's get 5,000 division players and say, hey, how many of you want Heartland? How many of you want a division game? I mean, the difference is definitely going to be clear. So this is what I'm talking about when I actually say or mention that I'm hypothesizing that they may have, in a sense, moved on from the development of Heartland. Now, it could be I could be wrong. The game has been in development for a long time, and it could be nearing its end phase, and they could still go ahead and launch it. But I'm not necessarily certain as to that. Why? Because it's been a while since we heard any news about the project. I think what might happen, if they have already canned the project at this moment, is they'll find some time where they're about to bring out some Division 3 news that is a lot more robust than what it is that they've already done. And that's where they're going to drop it. If, and this is an if, but until then, we're still just going to have to wait and see. But seeing the way the market is responding with all of this stuff, man, it's not necessarily the most conducive situation right now to start building a game that's going to be free to play, that you don't necessarily know how the audience is necessarily going to respond or react to it. But anyways, I'd love for you guys to respond in the comment section. Tell me basically what your thoughts are. And hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.